Alright, so I am shuffling for the rest of Asia except for Japan. I will pull a separate card for Japan. And I'm not snubbing anybody. I want to pull one just for Japan because of the nuclear tragedy that happened there. So the rest of Asia is the flowering card. This is a major arcana card. The flowering card is in other decks. This is a card from traditional tarot, and this is the death card in the OSHO Zen tarot deck. And death is a flowering. It's a process. It's a cycle, and this does not necessarily the death card in any deck does not necessarily speak to actual death, but it talks about a cycle. It talks about things changing. So this is a very powerful card. All right. The next card that I'm pulling is for Japan. The Mind card. It's been very interesting watching as the Japanese people have been seeing their government become more supportive of military, and this is something that's going to that has been in interviews that I have seen has been very difficult for modern Japanese people to reconcile with modern culture, with their modern culture. I think there's also that this idea of mind is such an important part of philosophy when you're looking at meditation, and I don't want to sound trite about this because I in no way mean this in a trite way, but meditation is a large foundation piece of modern Japanese culture, whether or not modern Japanese people actually meditate. And so this idea of mind is part of that energy right now. It is also a major arcana card. Next card I'm going to pull is for Middle East, everything on the other side of Pakistan, over to the coast, over to the Dead Sea there, before you cross over and are in North Africa. So this is all of the Middle East, including Persia. Including Syria. I'm sorry, my heart can't take pulling a card just for Syria. The Dream. Oh, goodness gracious. I don't know if this card is speaking to dreams of people who are suffering in conditions of war, or if this card's talking about the dreams that I've been having. And by dream, well, you see a man holding a woman in this kind of dreamy kind of setting, and a young girl looking on as though this is maybe her future. And I don't know, whenever I see female figures in the artwork in cards, in these cards, I don't think necessarily of gender, but I think of land. I don't necessarily think of, men and women always, but frequently I think of the land. I think of the earth. And, this young woman looking at this transformation of this older woman who's being held. There's something loving there. The next card I'm going to pull is for Africa. The continent of Africa, there are just too many countries. There are just too many countries on that continent for me to pick and choose. And I know that politics and cultures are very diverse within the country or within the continent of Africa, but there's a continuity. Ordinariness. Isn't this something that everybody is looking for and wishing for and hoping for and working towards and wanting? Ordinariness. And what does that mean? What does it mean to be ordinary? What is ordinary? It's like what you usually find. What my grandma would say, SOS. SOSDD. But there's this ideal nature to this idea of, oh, it's just an ordinary day, just doing ordinary things, putting that in context of what has become ordinary or what is becoming ordinary. That's something to keep in awareness, and I think it's something that people in Africa are thinking about and looking at as well. Next card I'm going to pull is for Australia and New Zealand. I'm sorry, New Zealand last year, I forgot to mention you. And I know you're different countries, and you share some similar cultural heritages. Clinging to the past. This is a card that brings awareness to, holding on to old stuff and fighting arguments that have already been fought, have already been fought, but there's still some seed of hurt or some seed of memory. And it can be very difficult to let go of. Next card I am going to pull is for I don't know, does Greenland consider itself part of Western Europe? It's not connected to the Western European landmass, it's its own landmass, so I'll pull a card for Greenland. Ooh. Greenland and Iceland both. Oh my goodness, we got 3 cards, wow. Alright, so Greenland. Silence and patience. I think those are very representative of what I have learned and come to understand about that place, and I've never been, and I think it would be a wonderful place to see. But this patience card is about the birthing of something, the birthing of an idea, the birthing of something. And silence card is this is a very peaceful card. Do you need to stop it and restart it? The next card I am, or this is the card for, what did I say, Iceland? Yes. Laziness. Now, whenever I do a reading for somebody and the laziness card comes up, there's like this idea of offense. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, you know. Laziness is not quite the same, it's not the same thing as sloth, right? Laziness implies that you have a cushion of luxury in some way, and that you haven't had to contribute as much, or haven't been asked to contribute as much, or forced to contribute as much. I've never been to Iceland either, but it's another place that I think would be very lovely to visit. And I don't know a lot about Icelandic politics, but I can tell you, what I know about this card. Next card I'm going to pull is for the North Pole, or the northern polar ice cap. Trust. Oh my goodness. What a leap of faith, right? As we watch all of this ice melt. The trust card is about making a leap of faith. There's no faith card in the deck. The closest thing to a faith card in the deck is trust. And watching that change happen, you have to put trust in something, taking that leap. Next card I'm going to pull is for Antarctica. The trust card is also a major arcana card. Morality. This is also a major arcana card. This is a very stern card, and it comes down to people really being steadfast in conviction, personal convictions that are based on intrinsic belief systems, inherited belief systems, and I think that is what is triggered for a lot of people in encountering what news comes out of Antarctica. Have I gotten all of the land masses?
I think so.
I think so too. I don't think there's anybody that I have forgotten at this point. And if I have forgotten a landmass, my apologies. I'm now going to pick a card for the arts, and this is performing arts, visual arts, liberal arts, media arts. This is the arts, and this is worldwide.
Did you get Pacific Islands? Pacific Island nations?
Like that was considered with Southeast Asia.
Okay, got it.
And yes, I did not pull a card specifically for the Philippines.
Yeah, that's fine.
Or, yeah. So, I'm sorry, this card that I'm pulling right now is for the arts. New vision. This card came up in last year's reading as well, and I don't believe it was for the arts. I can't remember at this very moment, but that's neither here nor there. The new vision card is this is a powerful thing. This is what happens at the point of change. This is what happens when change, the need for change has been accepted. And I think we're going to see a lot of artwork coming out of the entire world. And that's what this is about. People have there's a lot of energy bubbling up out there. Creative juices are moving. We'll see if governments allow them to flow. Next card I'm going to pull is for sciences. We are the world, and this is for me, this is a hopeful card to see that we are the world. This is talking about unity within the scientific world of research. And I think no matter what country a scientist hails from, that with the exception of an individual who has no regard for humanity or disdain for humanity, that all scientists are trying to work towards the greater good, and that is something that can become corrupt by politics and by governments. But this is speaking to the energy of scientists and those working in the sciences as vocation. And that's not to say somebody who's religious. I'm talking about somebody who approaches their life in science as vocation, which I think all true scientists do. So this is a very hopeful card. Next card I'm going to pull is going to be for human and civil rights. Control. This is a major arcana card, and this talks about the struggle, because ultimately the issues of human and civil rights comes down to one group of people or a number of groups of people trying to control another group or groups of people. And that is a human struggle. That is a very, very, very real human struggle, and quite accurate. Next card I'm going to pull is going to be for world religions. Isolation. This is what religions have been doing. Religions have been isolating people. And I don't mean that. I'm not talking about faith. I'm talking about the structure of religions has become a very isolating device that groups use within their own ranks, and then also to isolate other people. This is a tragedy. This is a tragedy. And so not what religion should be. Oh, goodness. Next card I'm going to pull for the economy, or I should say economies, world economy. I guess it's going to be this one. It's sticking out. Courage. Who doesn't need that right now, right? All of these unknowns and these unreal and unprecedented things that have been happening throughout all of the world, but particularly here in the United States, and and Russia and China. People need to have courage. What else? The oceans. I'm going to pull for the oceans and all wildlife, because I love the animals. Postponement. This is a hard card when it comes up in a reading for people, and it's kind of taken me off guard coming up for the oceans and wildlife, because when I see this in a person's reading, it's usually talking about a goal that has been that a person's been working towards, that is being delayed in some way. And our oceans and our wildlife really can't afford much more postponement. But this is the energy. Again, I'm not reading about the future. I'm reading about what the present energy is, and that's the present energy around oceans and wildlife. Okay. What else? Agriculture. Ooh. Guess it's this one. Past lives. I think this card is talking about a need to reach back into ancestral roots and ancestral knowledge about ways of cultivating and gathering food. This is a powerful card. This is a powerful, powerful card. And when this comes up in a person's reading, it always is talking about some sort of karmic akashic plane knowledge that is being presented in some way in a person's life. And so this is talking about agriculture in the world, and that's very moving to me. Okay. Is there anything else that I have pulled for in past years that I have not pulled for today?
I can't remember. Offhand.
Is there anything else that you'd like to look at?
Did you already pull one? You already pulled one for the economy?
Yep.
Yeah.
That was the courage card.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
All right. Well, I think that's it. Let me just arrange these a little more neat and tidy, and then we'll get an overview. I want all of them to be able to be seen. You coming around?
Mm-hmm.
Number of major arcana this year. There we go. if you have been watching this, Happy New Year to you. And my wish, my prayer, my prayer is that God's will be served no matter what, and that we as human beings can find it within ourselves to be loving and compassionate and kind